Imagine being told you can't have the Social Security money you earned, even though you can't work because of a bad back. That happened to me for 3 long years, but I didn't give up and I won in the end. Stay with me to hear how I fought the system and got my benefits. A story that might give you hope, too. My name is Robert, and I'm 65 years old, living in a small house in Texas, with a porch where I used to sit and watch the sunset. I have gray hair and lines on my face from years of working as a gardener, lifting heavy bags of soil until my back gave out. I loved being outside, making gardens bloom, but a few years ago, the pain got so bad I couldn't stand for long. I thought Social Security would help me, like a steady friend, since I paid into it all my life. But when I turned 62, I applied for Social Security benefits because I couldn't work anymore. I sent in my papers, hoping for some relief from the pain and bills. Weeks turned into months, and then I got a letter saying no, they denied me. My hands shook as I read it, sitting at my kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee. How can they say no? I wondered, feeling like the ground had slipped away. The letter said I didn't have enough work credits, or that my disability wasn't serious enough. I felt lost, like a boat without a paddle. My savings were almost gone, and my wife, Maria, who's 63 and works part-time, was stretching her pay to cover us. We couldn't afford my doctor visits or the special chair I need for my back. I started to think I'd never get help. Social Security is like a safety net, a way to catch you when you can't work because of age or sickness. It gives money based on what you paid in while working. And there's a part called disability insurance for folks like me who can't job anymore. The Social Security Administration, SSA, on ssa.gov says you need to prove your disability and have enough work credits. But my first try didn't work. I didn't understand why they saw my records, my doctor's notes. She encouraged me to keep going, saying, "You deserve this, Robert." I wasn't sure, but her words lit a small spark in me. I didn't want to be a burden, but I also didn't want to give up on something I'd earned. Have you ever been turned down for something you worked hard for? Share your story in the comments side. Love to hear how you kept going. I decided to fight back, but the road ahead looked tough. Would I find a way to win, or would the denials keep coming? Stick around to find out. The first denial was just the start. I went to the SSA office, a plain building with hard chairs, and talked to a worker who said I needed more proof. I brought letters from my doctor showing my back pain and how I can't lift anything heavy. But they sent another no a month later. It felt like hitting a wall with no door. Money got tighter. We stopped eating out, even on Sundays when we used to go for pancakes. Maria picked up extra hours at her job, sewing clothes, but her hands hurt too. I tried to help around the house, but bending over to sweep made my back scream. I'd sit in my special chair, staring at the wall, feeling useless. Why won't they listen? I'd mutter, my voice low. The denials hurt more than my back. I'd spent 30 years as a gardener, working in the sun, building gardens for people's homes, and I thought that counted for something. Now I felt like a failure, like all that hard work was for nothing. Maria would hug me, saying, "You're not a failure," but I saw the worry in her eyes. Our daughter, Lisa, who's 40 and lives nearby, brought groceries sometimes, but I hated needing help. One night, I couldn't sleep. I hobbled to the kitchen, the pain waking me, and saw Maria counting coins for the electric bill. Tears came, tears of anger and shame. I wanted to provide, not take. The SSA's denials made me feel like a stranger in my own life, like I didn't belong anymore. I decided to appeal. The SSA website, opening parenthesis ssa.gov, said I could ask for a hearing, so I filled out forms with Maria's help. My hands shook as I wrote, and we mailed them off, hoping for a chance. But months passed with no answer. I called the SSA, waiting on hold for hours, and each time they said, "It's still being reviewed." It was like waiting for a bus that never comes. I got a lawyer through a senior group, a kind man named Mr. Johnson, who didn't charge much. He said my case was strong, my doctor's records showed I couldn't work, but the process was slow. We gathered more papers, hospital visits, a note from my boss saying I had to quit. Mr. Johnson explained that the SSA sometimes denies people at first, and you have to keep pushing. I felt a mix of hope and exhaustion, like climbing a hill with a heavy load. Friends noticed I was down. My neighbor, Mrs. Kim, a 70-year-old widow, brought me soup and said, "Don't give up, Robert." Her words helped, but the second denial came anyway. The letter said I didn't meet their rules, even with all the proof. I sat on the porch, watching the sunset fade, wondering if I had the strength to try again. Just when I thought I'd lost, Mr. Johnson called with news about the hearing. Would this be the moment I won, or another disappointment? Have you ever had to keep trying after a setback like this? Tell me about it in the comments. I could use some encouragement. The hearing day arrived, and I was nervous. It was held over the phone because of my back, and Mr. Johnson sat with me at home. I told the judge about my 30 years gardening, the pain that stopped me, and how I couldn't sit or stand for long. My voice shook, but I kept going. Maria held my hand, and after an hour, the judge said they'd decide soon. I felt a tiny hope, like a seed sprouting. 2 weeks later, a letter came. I opened it with Maria, my hands trembling. Approved, it said. My Social Security disability benefits would start giving me $1,200 a month. I cried, not from sadness, but from joy. We hugged, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Social Security is like a helping hand when you can't work, and disability insurance is part of it for folks with serious health problems. The SSA on ssa.gov says you need to prove your disability lasts at least a year and stops you from working, which I finally did with my appeal. It took 3 years, but persistence paid off. Sometimes you have to keep asking until they listen. I learned 2 things that might help you. First, check your Social Security benefits online at ssa.gov before you apply, so you know what to expect. It's like reading a map before a trip. Second, if you're denied, don't give up. Ask for a lawyer or help from a senior group to appeal, like I did. My porch is my happy place again. I sit there with Maria, watching the sunset, and we talk about little trips we can take with my benefits. The pain is still there, but the money covers my medicine and a new chair that helps my back. Lisa visits more, bringing her kids, and we laugh together. I feel proud now. Those 3 years were hard, but they made me stronger, like a tree that bends in the wind but stands tall. I joined a support group for disabled seniors, sharing my story, and we help each other with SSA tips. You showed us we can win, one friend said, and that warmed my heart. My fight with Social Security taught me that persistence can pay off even after years of struggle. If this story lifted your spirits or gave you ideas to try, please like this video and subscribe for more stories like mine. Share it with someone who might need hope. It could change their day. What's one thing that helped you through a tough time? Let me know in the comments. We can inspire each other. I'm back on my porch, enjoying the sunsets with Maria, thanks to Social Security and my fight to win it. Thanks for watching my story, and I'll see you next time with more to share.